Quick audio level test. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pony Express off-season race. I do not want to focus on Paletti, I want most exciting. Apparently, Nicholas Paletti sitting in the pit lane is most exciting. There we go, Nick Terrell in his Apple car. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pony Express 2022 Season 2 off-season, Season 3 pre-season. Okayama Formula V fun. We have an interesting race going on. We're going to have two 25-minute heats. We're just nearing the end of practice right now. We've got about, oh, there's the end of practice. We got about 11 cars in here. And we're about to go into qualifying. Out of the pits first is Paul Boyle. Paul Boyle recently left Pony Express, Team Pony Express, to join Doge Squad Racing, so congratulations, Paul. Oh, it's an open qualifier as well. I was unaware of that. This could provide for a very interesting thing, as Team Doge Squad, which have a few people in here, go up against Pony Express. They can provide slipstream and all kinds of fun in here. So we'll see how that pans out. We've got Zachary Nurnberger, Brad McCombs, Tyler Watts, Tyler Ray, Jonas Janum, Jason Gunnels, Mark Dillon Jr., Paul Boyle, Stephen C. Thompson, Nicholas Paletti, and Nick Terrell, all lining up to challenge tonight. Track temperature, a scorching 132 degrees on this track here in Okayama. This is a Japanese track. I'm assuming it's in Okayama, Japan. Not sure though. Alright, let's see. We're on TV3. Wonderful. Here's TV1. We got a little blinking coming from Brad McCombs and his Christmas-themed livery there. That's the default iRacing livery for the Formula V car. It's going to be interesting. They seem to be fighting each other quite a lot on their qualifying lap, which is not really helpful. They're just going to lose time there. I'm not sure what their plan is. But Brad wanting to get ahead going into the lap. Not really finding that gap that he needs to get in a nice lap in. If I were Brad, I would back off a little bit and let Tyler go. Just wait going into the final corner. Still pick up the slipstream, but not be hindered midway through. As both of them are blinking right now. With spotty connection. Brad, he runs his whole rig off of a mobile hotspot, which is pretty impressive. In the background we see, I believe that is Stephen C. Thompson in the blue and white car. Side by side on their qualifying laps, still Brad and Tyler Watts. I don't know what their strategy is there. Obviously, Brad and Tyler both setting the slowest time so far. Zachary Nurnberger, he's set a 103.5. That's the slowest time now. But the battling of Tyler and Brad cannot be helping one another out. As in the back, there's Stephen Thompson. There's Paul Boyle's newly painted Formula V with the Doge Squad Racing livery. It's a Galaxy Rainbow Barf, for lack of better words. There's a corn car, the number 11, as a corn star. I know Tyler, Zach, Marcus would be proud of that guy, whoever is in that number 11 car, which appears to be, that's Mark Dillon Jr., the owner of Pony Express. Apparently the most exciting thing on track right now, according to iRacing. Ooh, as Brad McCombs goes a little wide, ruins his lap. There's Paul Boyle going off, and that looks like the 56 of Nicholas Paletti following him off track. That's going to invalidate their times, and they're going to have to go around again. Let's see what happened here one more time. That's the 4 of Tyler Watts. I'm not exactly sure what iRacing is making us watch. Anyways, back here, there's drama. There's Tyler Watts going off. The number 11 of Mark Dillon Jr. is going to drive right by that, unfazed. Brad McCombs following him closely, trying to pick up that slipstream and try to move up his qualifying time a little bit. We're not going to see if he improved. Oh, there he is. I don't think he improved at all with that lap. Right now on pole is Stephen Thompson, followed by Paul Boyle, less than a tenth behind, 2/100ths of a second slower. Tyler Watts is 4/10ths back. Brad is 6/10ths. Jonas Janum is 6/10ths. Zachary Nurnberger, another 6/10ths. So, it's going to be a very close field tonight. Very close. It's going to be a great race. It's kind of last minute. Not much advertising was out there for it, but I think we'll have a great time watching this tonight. Again, you're watching Formula V Fun, the off-season race for Pony Express on the YouTube channel for Pony Express Sim Racing. Looks like we've got about 5 more minutes of qualifying, 5 more chances to set a lap. Well, a little under 5 more chances. 4 more chances to set a lap if you haven't already. Seems like so far 8 people have qualified. Nicholas Paletti just put in his first timed lap. Very, very slow lap, 2.5 seconds off of the pace. Nick Terrell is struggling 9/10ths back from pole position. And other than that, the times have not changed just yet. Paul Boyle, look at that thing. It's rainbow cosmic confetti barf. And it's beautiful, but it's also a sign of what would be the verb of traitorism. That's not a thing. But as a Team Pony Express member, I'm very sad that Paul's left us, but it's also going to provide some very, very interesting racing in the E4A season, as Doge Squad has another member to enact strategy calls with, to go against our Pony Express. Honestly, it's an army at this point, the amount of people that are on Team Pony Express. But as we see, Nicholas Paletti's giving him a tow down the main straight. It's not good enough to improve his lap time. You see a little smoke come out of the back of that car. That's just what happens when you shift. I'm not sure why. It doesn't mean he locked up, but these cars just dump smoke when you downshift, or upshift for that matter. You see, it'll get on those people's visors that are following. This is TV3. I gotta figure out where I am in terms of which camera angle. Let's get a little TV static, because that's a great angle. I do enjoy this one. Paul, I'm not sure what his plan is. I think he's going to stick back and try to take the slipstream once more, as, let's see, Nicholas Paletti just puts in a 103.0, which brings him up the field to 4/10 back now. And Nick Terrell, now in third place, with a 102.9. Let's see if I can get... this is going to come up in the way, but we'll move it. Let's see if we can get the fastest time up there for qualifying. There we go. So a 102.65, followed by a 102.68, and then a 102.9 set by Nick Terrell. I really do love this camera, the TV static. Also a big fan of the TV mixed, which gives you onboard views, gives you static views, helicopter. It's awesome. Another great camera angle. Let's see. There we go. Zach Purcell, watching from the airport. Welcome in. Wish you were here today, either as a racer or joining me in the booth. It's going to be a great race tonight. Be wonderful if we could get a few more people, but I believe that the registration time is closed already. 11 people is still a pretty decent turnout for an off-season race. I love that hot dog livery of Jonas Janum. I don't think I'm saying Janum right. Janum? I'm not sure. Jason Gunnell, have not seen much from him. He has not put in a lap yet. I'm not sure if he will have. It's possible that he left the session. Along with Tyler Ray, who did leave the session. I'm not sure if he came back or not. So if those two are gone, that puts us about 9 racers tonight. But, again, still enough to have a great race, especially with how close they are. Look, we've got a difference of about 4/10 separating the top 6, and the top 3 are all within a second. Looks like actually everybody's within a second now. They've all brought it down. A gap of 6/10 separates the whole 9-car field right now. It's going to be such an amazing race. They're going to have to make 2 pit stops, 1 for a full tank, and 1 just towards the end of the race. They're going to need about 1 lap of fuel. That's the end of the session. I thought my Wi-Fi was going out. That's the end of the session. They're all about to form up on the grid. We're going to lose our overlays for a second while nobody is being spectated. And it's going to be a wonderful race here. I've said that multiple times. Cool Bridges livery from Death Standing too. I don't know what Death Standing is, but I'm sure it would look great on this broadcast. Even in the commentary booth. Speaking is so hard. If you could give me a rating on the audio level, how the balance is, that'd be great, Zach. We have our first cars on the grid. That looks like about 5 cars. Brad McCombs is still blinking there. It's a little unfortunate for him, but it shouldn't affect us. More cars lining up. This should be TV3, 2, and 1. Let's start on 3. I like that view. We're on TV3. It's so hard to keep track. Alright. Looks like we're waiting on Zachary Nuremberger, the corn car of Mark Dillon Jr. Somebody back in last place, that may be Paletti. Or no, it's Nick Terrell. It's going to be a great race. Just missing 3 people from the grid. Pony Express is going into their 6th season of Endurance for Amateurs and their 5th season, I think, of Open Wheel for Amateurs. Anyways, here goes the lights, and away they go. Let's clear that out. Off all the cars go. They're all on their way into turn 1. Not much happening right now. I'm trying to turn off the overlay thing and do that. Anyways, we see the Apple car of Nick Terrell falling back. The corn car, Mark Dillon Jr., he's making moves early on. It's a sprint, not a marathon for him. He's looking to keep his spot, looking to move up. All that smoke from the car shifting. Oh, and that's Paul Boyle. He spun it. Mark Dillon Jr. spins it as well. Lots of drama going into the hairpin. What has happened here? I lost my button. It's okay. We can't see Paul spin, but there's Mark spinning. A bunch of people get caught up in that wreck. They do have unlimited fast repairs, though, so if they tow to the pits or drive back to the pits, it's just about a 1-second stop and they're back in. There's more drama as Mark Dillon Jr. loses it again. That is the hot dog car of Jonas Janum collecting him. Oh, and he backs up into number 56 of, I believe that's Nicholas Paletti. It's all falling apart on this first lap. Now we're back into lap 2. Out in 4th place, here's Zachary Nuremberger. Just cruising behind. That looks like Nick Terrell following him. I think he got ahead in the turn 1, turn 2 area. It says he's in 4th, but I believe he's in 3rd. Stephen Thompson up in 1st. Already pulled a 3.3 second gap to Tyler Watts in 2nd. Let's get, this should be 3 static, TV static. That smoke coming out of the car when they shift. It's not an engine problem. Oh, what a beautiful view that is. Zach giving me the good old, I'm saying Nick's last name wrong. It's Nick Terrell. Nick Terrell. I remember we went over this in great depth, so I apologize. We're gonna do that. I guess Zachary Nuremberger is the most exciting thing on track right now. How does it feel to be the most exciting thing? We'll never know, because he can't answer us. But we will interview the winner of the event, so stick by for that. We got... That can't be right. It says we are 52 seconds into this race. That doesn't seem right. We are 5 minutes into this race. Interesting. No matter. Out in front, we see the lapped car of... No, that's not a lapped car. That's just the Williams livery of Tyler Watts. Nick Terrell. It's going to be so hard for me to say that in commentating. Nick Terrell looks like he's catching up a little bit to Mr. Nuremberger. That's a slow car. What number is that? I'm not sure what car that is. Looks like Brad's car, but there's no number 3 on it. He's going very slowly. Not sure what's happened to him. Oh, he spun it again. Let's see that. Let's get a view. That's the number 10 car there. Into the wall. Just looped it around. Very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Now, out in front, Stephen Thompson dominating this race. 3.7 second gap after just 4 laps of racing. And now there's a 2.6 second gap from Tyler Watts back to 3rd place of Tyler. Speaking is so hard. Back to 3rd place of Zachary Nurnberger. Although 8/10 behind him is Nick Terrell, who is looking to get past and up into that 3rd place spot. We will check back in on them later in this race. Here we see Paul Boyle. Paul Boyle had a lap 1 wreck. He got hit. Looks like he's been to the pits. He's back out. And no, he hasn't gone to the pits. He survived with minimal damage. He's back out. He's driving around like no problem. He's about 5/10 slower than the fastest lap so far. But he is making his way around, which is important here. With such a small driver field. Okay, there we go. That's the last lap times. He's still about 4/10 slower, which is a great sign for him that he survived that chaos. Let's take a trip back. Here's Jonas Janum. He's 8.8 seconds behind Paul Boyle, so now the field is very spread. Very, very spread. Nicholas Paletti is behind him. He also got caught up in first lap drama, along with Mark Dillon Jr. in the corn car. Out in front, there's Stephen Thompson. That is the gap between him and our buddy Tyler Watts. Now 4 seconds, 3.9 seconds. There's Zachary Nurnberger. Ooh, as Nick Terrell takes a little spin there. What happened? Did he get on the grass? Is this him? Yeah, just got on the grass a little too much. Very unfortunate for him, but I know he can make his way back. He's a very fast, very clean driver. Paul Boyle gets past him, his new teammate. They're going to have to work together, use that slipstream as much as they can to get back up there. Tyler Watts in 2nd place has just set the fastest lap, a 102.5. Does he have the pace to win this? There's still, I don't know why the clock is off. There's still about 15 minutes left. He's holding that 4-second gap pretty closely up to Stephen Thompson ahead. It's possible. It's very possible, but you never know. Brad's in the chat. My internet is really, really bad tonight. Sorry, guys. All good. You came out. You raced. Nothing else you can do about it, you know? Let's see. Let's go back to our most exciting. Straight back to Zach Nurnberger. I don't know why, but iRacing just really loves him. Click on most exciting, and it's him every time. Here we go, Nick Terrell. 1.2 seconds off the back of his teammate, Paul Boyle. I'm sure he's really going to want to be reaping that slipstream benefit right now. He may be just a tiny bit too far back for it, though. Just the tiniest bit. He's really got to use it, get up to his teammate, and drag each other along in the slipstream if they want any chance of a podium for their team. 3 seconds now is the gap from 2nd to 3rd place. And Stephen Thompson has now dropped Tyler Watts another 4/10. So it's not looking like Tyler's going to win this on pace, but you never know. He just lost another 2/10. Here is the pit lane view. Let's get some chopper action. There we go. Paul Boyle cruising through penultimate turn into the final turn. There you go. There's his teammate Nick Terrell. Yeah, the onboard was just random. I clicked last incident, and I'm not sure how it worked, but it looked good. So, I'll take credit. Let's see. I think here's Tyler Watts. I'm not sure why this is in the incident, but alright. So, here we go. Back to Nick Terrell. Coming on to what would be the end of Sector 1 on the real track, I believe. No, this is the back straight. Alright, that's enough chopper view. I'm lost now. Okay, static. This is TV mixed, I think. I've lost my marker. I think this is TV mixed. Cool. It's a great view. Love the onboards. It's just following this one battle here. I think this is the closest battle on track. Paul and Nick. Kind of holding that gap stagnant. But we'll see. There's still 14 minutes left in this race. And then there's a whole second race coming. I really need a second person in the booth, Zach. You gotta get in here, man. Following each other very nicely. Very uniform. Nick Terrell has now brought the gap from 1.6 down to 1.1. He may be slightly catching now. We'll see if he can make anything happen against Paul Boyle. 14 versus 81. That equals 95. Speaking of 95, Tyler Watts out in second place. Now has a 5-second gap to first. He is being dropped by that of Stephen Thompson. He is not number 95 in this session, but in the league, I feel like my doing this with the thing is bad for audio. Anyways, he's number 95 in the league, so that's how we segued to him, if you're confused. Let's go back here. I hate that I have to click that every time. Back to the Paul and Nick battle. Nothing much going on besides that. We are yet to see pit stops. We're going to see that in about 2 laps. About 2 laps, I believe. And it's going to be very, very fun. Seeing the strategies. It's going to be a 2-stop race unless somebody can magically fuel save. I'm not sure if anybody's been doing that, though. Maybe Nick Paletti. I'm not sure if he just has a lot of damage, or if he's fuel saving, trying to get rid of that little splash and dash at the end, which would make it a 1-stop for him. Either way, he's got a 54-second gap to him, so hi Cassidy. He's got a 54-second gap. That's a very interesting comment there. Oh, that's not what we want. Get that out of the way, please. Now Nick Terrell is right on... Terrell. There you go, Zach. Nick Terrell has set the fastest lap, and he is right up to the bumper of Paul Boyle at this point. He is on the charge, and he's on his way. Jonas Janum looks like he's pit as Mark Dillon Jr. In goes Paul Boyle as well. He's into the pits. Nick Terrell goes out for one more lap. It's going to be close on fuel, I'm assuming. He may have to do a little fuel saving while going. Let's get a pit lane cam here. There we go. Get that out of the way. Nick Terrell now into the lead of this race after staying out. Will he have enough fuel? Was he thinking about pit stops? I'm not sure. It's an interesting strategy, honestly. Seems that everybody else is pit, except for him. Mark Dillon Jr., though. Let's get off of this. There's the blimp cam. Mark Dillon Jr. may have also not pit. No, Mark Dillon Jr. has not pit. He is 9 laps behind on fuel strategy. He went into the pits on lap 3, possibly covering off his splash and dash there and hoping to take it all the way here. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Into the pits goes Nick Terrell. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do that. 7 likes. I'm honored. And then let's see. Let's get off of this. Oh, the joys of having no clue what I'm doing. Here we see Mark Dillon Jr. going for the move on Nicholas Paletti. They've been having a battle this lap. Looks like Nicholas got ahead into turn 1. I did not catch that. Now, the field seems to be much closer as the order has been shaking up every time they cross the line. Speaking is so hard to do. No incidents right now. I don't believe. This is going to be a nice little battle here. Nick Terrell, in his staying out, has lost almost 6 seconds to Paul Boyle, who he was right on the back of before the pit stop. So that was obviously a huge strategy mistake for him. Here they go. Mark Dillon Jr. looking to make the pass. Side by side into turn 1. He's going to get ahead. He's going to stick the move, but back comes Paletti. Side by side in for turn 2. Not quite. Nicholas Paletti slots back behind. Oh, that's enough of that story, I guess. Now 8.9 seconds is the gap from Stephen Thompson, the leader, to Tyler Watts in 2nd place. Behind him, another 3.3 seconds to Zachary Nirenberger. Behind Zach, he's got an 11-second buffer just to hit Paul Boyle in 4th. It's been rather spread out now. I'm not sure if that's on account of pit strategies or just raw pace. I'm sure there was something in the pits that must have changed this. Surely we're going to see something coming out in the pit in the end of the race that just shows the difference. See, I run out of words. I need a second person to cover me off here. At the end of the race, that will show what happened in the pits. Somebody's going to not have to pit or pit shorter. It's going to be quite an interesting thing. Now we see this is just Tyler Watts trying to pass Jonas Janum in the 9 car, the hot dog. Formula V hot dog edition. Jonas Janum does not look like he wants to let him by, though. He is planting his car. Blue flags are not enforced here, so he has no obligation to let him by. But it's really a gentlemanly thing to do. Not going to happen. Paul Boyle now behind Nick Terrell. Did he spin? That's not it. Here's Paul Boyle. That's Paul Boyle pitting. Let's check on Paul. Where is he? Going the wrong way. Paul. It looks like it was just a textbook pass. Oh, Paul Boyle has gone off. Here's what happened. Just lost it. Had to take to the grass to get out of the way of Terrell. I can't say it right every time. Anyways, I'm so used to saying Terrell. That's what happened there. Let's go here. Let's go here. Now we see Mark Dillon Jr. still chasing down Jonas Janum, who is again a back marker. Oh no. Who is he chasing down then? I want that battle back. I don't need the back marker. Mark Dillon Jr. is not really near anybody. Oh, it's Paletti near Mark. Let's try to find that. There we go. That gap that looked much closer, not 5 seconds ago, is now back to 1.5 seconds, so not much happening there. We can see Stephen Thompson in the background, who is about to lap them in just a few laps here. Looks like 5 more minutes left in this race. It's going to be a 22 lap race apparently. That doesn't seem right, but all the clocks are off right now for some reason. Let's go back to most exciting. It's going to bring us. Here's Tyler Watts finally trying to lap the 9 of Jonas Janum. He's got the outside. It's not going to work. He's going to look up the inside, decide better, go back again. And it's just not going to work. Jonas Janum has planted his car there. He is racing hard. He does not want to be lapped. Nothing that Tyler can do. At this point, I don't think that he's really missing much. He was not going to catch Steven on pace. But if Steven does make a mistake and he's not right behind him to capitalize on it, it could lead to Steven getting away scot-free. We'll see how that goes now. Nicholas Paletti is about 2 seconds from being lapped. There's a 3-second gap to Mark Dillon now from Nicholas Paletti. Tyler Watts really trying to hop into that slipstream, getting down the straight on Jonas Janum. He just wants to get past this back marker. They're going to go side by side into turn 1. They almost touched there. Tyler looks like he's got it this time. Finally, after 4 laps of battling, Jonas is behind him, tucks into the slipstream. He's going to dive up the inside. And, ooh, they touch. They touch. There's net code. They get away scot-free, though, and Tyler is finally ahead. That was a close call. Let's see that one more time. Just the rear wheel, a little net code. Jonas just kind of goes flying, but he seems to survive it, and they're all right. TV3, perfect. Tyler now running away. He's all right. But back in 5th place, a battle for 4th and 5th. Paul Boyle catching up to Nick Terrell. It's going to be a good battle here in the closing stages. Hopefully we can see some action. Not sure if we will, but there's always a very good chance. Seemed like they were right on each other at the end of that lap. Now the gap being about 1.5 seconds. They seem to be the closest 4-position cars on track. Nicholas Paletti has now been lapped by the leader, Steven Thompson, who has just absolutely dominated this race up until this point. We've got about 2 minutes left, which is probably going to be 2 laps remaining. We have not seen second pit stops, so it's possible that it's going to work out and they're all going to make it. Unless the clock up there is wrong and we are only 19 minutes in, which there will be extra pit stops. I'm not sure which to believe. I would generally say that you believe the one on the top. But then again, I'm not sure. I suppose we'll find out in a few laps' time. Last time they got about 9 laps out of their tank, which means everybody will be getting awfully close right now to their pit window. About 1 more lap. I'm not sure how it's going to go down. We are on lap 21, which means I may have been wrong. They got 12 laps out of their tank, which this should be about a 25-lap race, or 24, depending on the time. So ideally, if they do a little fuel saving, they should be able to survive without having to pit. Steven Thompson, he's just been zooming out there. Was he burning up all his fuel? And is Tyler Watts going to have a little fuel saving being done and get him while Steven goes into the pits and he stays out? We're going to find out pretty soon. Hopefully, we get something going into the end of this race. Nick Terrell is coming back up. He's on his way. 0.8 separate him from... no, that's the other way around. Paul Boyle is coming up. Oh, but Paul's looped it. What's happened there? Oh, this is Mark Dillon. Mark's also looped it. This is during the pit stops. All right, well, I guess we don't get to see Paul's incident, but Paul has looped it, and he's going to be kicking himself. Let's just rewind here. Ooh, that's the wrong button. Play is P. There we go. That's my fast forward button. This. Nope, that's not fast forward at all. Anyways, Paul looped it. That's the moral of the story here. Back on most exciting. Tyler Watts, 12 seconds now behind Stephen Thompson. Yeah, so we're going to trust the clock on the standings bar. 3 minutes now remain in this race. It could be very, very close on the fuel. I think we might see some pit stops coming in very, very soon. Stephen Thompson out in front, dominating the race. He's just left Mark Dillon Jr. for the first time. Setting 102.771. Blistering lap times. Let's see. Let's get the fastest laps. Right now, Nick Terrell has the fastest lap by about 1/10. But after that, they're both within a tenth of each other in second and third. Not even a 1/10. It's about 5/100ths. Both ways. So it's very, very tight on pace, but Stephen Thompson, who avoided all the lap 1 drama, has really, really ran with it and taken his opportunity to run away. Great race from him. He's going to deserve every part of this victory. I believe we'll take him in for an interview if he wants to do that at the end of this race before the start of the next one. We now see 2 minutes remaining in this race. Why is my clock stopped? Oh, now it's gone down. Remaining time, 1 minute 36. There we go. I don't know why it's all messed up, but it is. Remaining time, 1 minute 26 seconds. Are we going to see a last-minute pit stop? There's Tyler Watts swerving like it's the end of the race. Was that the end of the race? The remaining time, actually, that must mean it is. All right, cool. We're going to go check on Stephen Thompson, see if he wants to come in for an interview real quick. I'll be right back. All right, we're here with Stephen Thompson, our race winner of Heat 1. Stephen, just walk us through how you got out in front and capitalized on that to win by almost 14 seconds.
Yeah, I think it was just consistent. I noticed, obviously, it was some lap 1 tragedies, but pulling away on the first lap was important, just staying stable under braking. I think I had a few seconds. Wow, that's some loud thunder going on right now. Yeah, but just driving away after that, making sure I was consistent. You can pretty much run these things within half a second and not really push too hard. And it was good to pull away, but I think everyone was getting used to the car, not too much practice, and a good second heat coming up here with a mixed-up field.
It's going to be a great race. We saw Nick Terrell actually stole your fastest lap by about 5/100ths, and Paul Boyle followed you by another 500ths. So if you guys come together on track, I'm looking forward to some awesome racing.
Yeah, there's actually some pretty good toe on these things. You don't really use fourth gear on the straight unless you're in the toe, so I have a feeling there's some slingshots possibilities if we're working through the field. But we'll see. It's got to survive lap 1 again.
All right. Well, have a good race, man. I'm going to send you back.
Thank you.
We just heard from Stephen Thompson, our race 1 winner. We're now in the 3-minute warm-up. In the lead-up, nobody is on track at all. We're just looking at stuff here. Not really anything showing up. Oh, there's Stephen Thompson out on track now that we've sent him back to the regular voice chat. We got about 1 minute remaining in the warm-up, and then we're going to go green for another 25 minutes. Stay tuned. Alright, that's the end of the warm-up. We're about to head to the grid. There's the safety car. Good old Porsche 911 GT3 R. Actually, I don't think it's the R, but it's 911 GT3. No wing on it. It looks a little funky, actually. There's our first car to the grid. That is Nicholas Paletti. The grid has been inverted for the start, so he's going to be sitting on... no. Yes, he will be on pole for the start, as Tyler Ray, Brad McCombs, and Jason Gunnels have all disconnected from the race. Stephen Thompson now... Excuse me again. Stephen Thompson now starting from last, as he won and the grid has been inverted. It's going to be an amazing race to watch from here. And let's just check on here. We have a smiley face in the chat. That's probably from Mark. They're all revving their engines, getting ready to go. And they're off. Let's see. Stephen Thompson gets a decent start. What else? Paul Boyle jumping Mark Dillon off the start. Jonas Janum keeping his second place. Paul Boyle going around the outside. He's gained the most, it seems. He is up into P4 from P7. Nick Terrell just loses it. That's unfortunate for him. That's going to take him out of the early running right now. Let's see what else we had going on here. Looks like Tyler Watts got caught up in that. Very, very unfortunate for him. Mark Dillon Jr. up in third, challenging Paletti. Jonas Janum is back up into first now. We have a good race brewing in front of our eyes right now. Jonas Janum, that hot dog car. We got hot dog, we got corn on the cob. Why am I saying hot dog like that? Then we got the Doge squad, followed by another Doge squad of Paul Boyle. Oh! Nicholas Paletti loses it. Forces Paul Boyle a little wide. Not too far, though. Stephen Thompson, from 11th place now, is right behind Mark Dillon Jr. going for the move. And he's going to back out of it. But back there, you see Stephen Thompson. He is in 4th place. He started in 11th. That's how much lap 1 drama we've seen so far. Nice little battle here. We're going to go to this camera here. Nice little battle here between Mark Dillon Jr. and Jonas Janum. Jonas was very slow last race, unfortunately, but he's got it back, and he's battling for the win out here. I mean, of course, we still have 25 minutes of racing to go, but either way, he is getting it done. Mark Dillon Jr. cannot get past, except in turn 1 and turn 2, where they were going side by side. My phone is probably making noise when it buzzes. Mark Dillon Jr. is going to hop in that slipstream and take it down the straight. Paul Boyle is 2 seconds back, and then behind him, Stephen Thompson, 1.8 seconds. Mark Dillon going for the outside, just squeezing his way in there. The outside line is not really the way to go here. Oh, or is it? The switchback, he's now on the inside for turn 2. Jonas Janum's going to leave him all the space he needs. He's going to go stick his wheel up there for the 3rd turn And Mark Dillon Jr. gets the move done to finish that sequence, and he's ahead. Stephen Thompson in the back, though. Paul Boyle, 103.1. Stephen Thompson, 102.8. The leaders up here battling, they're running 103.6s, so we can see Paul Boyle and Stephen Thompson coming into frame now. They are going to be in this fight in no time at all. It's going to be amazing to watch. I can't wait. Let's see what else is going on up the field. Looks like Zachary Nurnberger now 11 seconds back. Nick Paletti, 16. Tyler Watts, 21. Terrell is 53. They've all had some first lap drama. Now we got Jonas going for the move again. He's on the inside, exactly like last lap. Mark's going to have the run on him, though. He's going to get the inside for turn 2, I think. He's going to have the inside for turn 2 and turn 3. Jonas leaves him all the room, trying to initiate that switchback. He's got the inside for 4. But again, he just does not have the momentum out of there. There's Paul Boyle, Stephen Thompson in the back. They are catching them quickly. This fighting is costing them so very dearly. Stephen Thompson. Oh, Mark Dillon goes around. And he's going to keep it clean. He's not going to hit Stephen. But Mark Dillon Jr. ran a 103.1, while Paul Boyle and Stephen Thompson ran 102.7 and 102.5 respectively. That fight they just had there really cost them some time. Now Paul Boyle is 1 second off the back of Jonas Janum, and Stephen Thompson's 1.5 off the back of him. Mark Dillon Jr. is still in 4th despite his spin. That just shows how much drama there was on lap 1. Let's see. Back here, that's Nicholas Paletti. There's the spin of Nick Terrell, which caught Tyler Watts, Zachary Nurnberger, both up in the incident, and I think that's all that's left in that backpack. So that really cost them all. Here we go. Stephen Thompson on Paul Boyle. He's in the slipstream. It's not going to get anything done, though. He's going to sit behind him, wait for that turn 1 move. We've seen some great battles in that segment, I guess we can call it. That sector today. We're hoping to see another one right here between these two very talented drivers, both within about a tenth of each other. Jonas Janum is absolutely dropped off these two. He is gone. Once they got by him, it was just running away. He doesn't have the pace to stay out there. Unfortunately, though, he may be able to walk it home with a podium, however, as Jonas Janum is now about 7 seconds ahead of Mark Dillon Jr. in P4. Oh, 5 seconds now. 4/10 separate these two leaders, though, and they are almost equal on pace. It's a shame that Nick Terrell had to spin out on lap 1, because we could have seen some great battles between the three of them. Stephen and Paul, both very fast. We still have about 20 minutes of racing to go here, and it's an amazing fight already. I'm running out of words again. I need a second person. So if you're new to Pony Express and you this is the first thing you're ever watching, this is our off-season race. We don't usually do this stuff. We usually run Gt3 League and a F4 League. Monday nights, the F4 League runs at, I believe, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. They do 2 races. One's 25 minutes, one's 30 minutes. They invert the top 8 for the second race. And they do all sorts of types of tracks. Mostly the smaller club tracks, club circuits. Not many of those big F1 tracks that are so popular. Then we have our Gt3 League Endurance for amateurs. If you're just beginning, you want to get into endurance, this is the place to go. Check it out on ponyexpressracing.com. Pony Express, EXPRESS, racing.com. I don't know why I spelled it, but I did. Stephen Thompson still hanging on to the back of Paul Boyle. 3/10 separate, 2/10 separate them now. Steven wants to pass him into turn 1. He just does not have the speed. He looks to the left, looks to take an alternative line, maybe get a run. Doesn't look to have worked out super well for him, though. Here's the TV static. He's going side by side. He's got the run. He's going to have the outside into the straight, which is the one you want. You're going to get that momentum. You're going to have to go farther. Paul Boyle has a little trouble. Let's get a... There we go. And Steven gets ahead as Paul just does not get the exit that he needed. Unfortunate, but Steven goes very deep into the first of the 2 hairpins, which gives Paul a chance to catch up a little bit. He's going to get that wider line, a better exit, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to have to tuck in behind him and hope for the slipstream down the straight. Amidst all that battling, Jonas Janum now is catching up. The gap that was 2 seconds is now down to 1.5. Maybe if he gets the slipstream, he can keep it in. Keep it in for this first-second battle. Maybe. Maybe. I do hope so, because a 3-way battle would be amazing. All he needs is a slipstream, and those 2 to keep battling, and he'll be up there in no time. Let's see. Further back the field. Not much happening. Nick Terrell, after his first lap incident, is 49 seconds off. 30 seconds off of the guy in front of him. He's having a very, very rough race, and I'm not sure there's much he can do to get back in it. We see in the back, Mark Dillon Jr. in that yellow corn car is getting caught by Zachary Nurnberger. We'll see that fight start to bloom a little bit. There's this beautiful onboard camera that we love, the TV cam. You just see the speed of these cars. They're not super fast. They're like pretty much Volkswagen Bugs with a different body. But a Volkswagen Bug chassis, I believe. Just trying to catch up, looking for that slipstream. He may have a run on him here. He's going to pull out to the inside. They're side by side almost. Paul's going to have the inside for turn 2. Steven's got the overspeed, the momentum. He's going to have to stick a wheel up there. He's in there side by side. Jonas Janum in the back is saying, crash, crash, crash. But he's caught up now. Jonas Janum right on the tail now, 2/10 behind. Steven Thompson does not have a great exit, and Jonas has the slipstream of Paul Boyle. Can he make this into a second place move? It's very possible. Side by side in the hairpins, side by side still. And Jonas Janum's going to drive through possibly, but look at that long, long, long line that Steven has just taken there. He's going to get more speed out of the corner, but he drove an extra, 25 feet, which is not what you really want to do. Jonas Janum gets up in the second place now. That 1.5 second gap is down to negative. He is ahead of Steven Thompson, and he has the slipstream on Paul Boyle, looking to make a move into turn 1. That may be his best chance. They get very, very close on the wheels there. Very close. Mark Dillon Jr. in the background. Jonas Janum. Mark Dillon Jr. just sets the fastest lap by about 4/10 too. Jonas Janum back into the lead now. Steven Thompson on the inside of Paul Boyle. He's going to make that move easy, but the straight here now has Steven's exit a little bit compromised compared to Paul's. They got so much action going in this race right now. It's an amazing race. I'm enjoying this very, very thoroughly. Following each other through the double hairpin. Who would have thought Jonas had the pace to get back up here and lead the race? He was falling off a decent amount, but now he's back up. He's got a 1 second gap. No, he doesn't. Oh, he's pitting. He's pitting. He doesn't think he can go another lap. In goes Mark Dillon as well. These 2 out in front think they have the gas to take one more lap. Mark Dillon's into the pits. That looks like Zachary Nurnberger has stayed out. Let's see. Here's Nick Paletti. He's staying out. Tyler Watts, who is ages away. We're going to see what he's going to do momentarily. I believe he's going to stay out. No, he's diving into the pits as well. So, about 4 people have stayed out now. This could be an interesting strategy call here. There's Nick Terrell about to get lapped by Steven Thompson, our new race leader, following Jonas Janum's pit. Surely they're going to be into the pits this time around. There they go. The number 24 into the pits, followed by the 14. It's going to be interesting to see where they come out compared to Jonas Janum. Jonas had to take a little bit more fuel, but these guys have to put in... No, these guys have to take a little more fuel, but Jonas also has to drive around with more fuel, a heavier car, should we say. It's going to be interesting how they come out of the pits. Where's Jonas? Here's Jonas going into the double hairpin right now. He seems awfully far back, as we see Stephen Thompson and Paul Boyle coming out of the pit lane. Do we think Jonas Janum took tires? That may be what happened there. And he has just gone from in the lead of the race to... where is he going to filter out? He's in 6th place right now. That's very, very bad luck. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. There's about 3% tire wear after 12 laps in these cars. That is not a lot. That is... You know, we run the Gt3 tires down to like 6% in endurance races. So that's interesting. I believe that was just a blunder. It's like he has Ferrari strategists. Unfortunate for him. He seems to be out of this battle, however. So now it's just up to Steven and Paul. Mark Dillon's in the background still, 3.1 seconds back. That gap that Zachary Nurnberger had closed up on is now 15 seconds on Mark Dillon Jr. Not sure what happened to him. Maybe we can find what happened. I don't see it. But Zachary Nurnberger has had an issue. It cost him a lot of time. Mark Dillon Jr., if these two keep battling, he could catch up by the end of this race and do exactly what Jonas Janum did. He has the pace to. He has the fastest lap. Actually, let's bring that up and see what the lap times are now. Fastest laps. So Mark Dillon Jr. still sitting on the fastest lap by almost 3/10, it looks like. That was a blazer of a lap. He's 3/10 faster now. Zachary Nurnberger sitting a 107.9. I'm not sure if that was because he spun. Oh, the yellow's been thrown. Why? What has brought out the yellow? Zachary Nurnberger has thrown the caution flag. What has caused that? I'm not sure. That may be just on account of the field becoming so spread out that they want to bunch it back up. We will find that out post-race. My assumption would be that they want to bunch the field back up and make it a little more tight coming into the end now that everybody's done their fuel. This is going to throw a very big wrench in some of the strategy. Well, not really. But it's going to lower the amount of laps we have, and it's going to change the course of this race completely. Everybody's going to be bunched back up. They're going to start double file, and it's going to be an all-out madman sprint to the end. There's 10 minutes left. There's the safety car. Nick Terrell almost hitting it. Goes by, followed by Tyler Watts. They are looking to catch back up to them. That cue right there that you see Stephen Thompson leading by the end of this safety car period to give them a better chance. Here we see them just slowly following that safety car. Stephen Thompson right on the back of that car. I don't know what he stands to gain by being that close, but he's there, and he is right on the back of it, waiting for all those cars to catch up. I'm assuming that the purpose of that was to bunch them back up. It's a beautiful livery he's got on that car there. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. My bad. Let's get some of that slow-mo. No, that's not it. I wanted like that side by side. Let's get static. That's not static. That's static. That's not static. That's not static. Where are we? That's static. When they come by here, we'll get some of that slow-mo. See all the cars pass. beautiful liveries they have. Cosmic Doge Squad Formula V. We got the corn on the cob from Mark Dillon. The hot dog car of of Jonas. Is that his name? I forgot now. The hot dog car of Jonas is still in this race now with this safety car period. They're going to go around for, I'm assuming, one more lap. As, let's see where our friends going around the track are. They're catching up. They are just barely behind. So it is now looking like they're going to bring the caution in and resume racing on the end of this lap. It's going to leave them with about 5 minutes or so of racing. As you can see, they're all warming their tires. It has been changed. The start is no longer double file. They're all going to be single file following one another, which could lead to some very interesting chaos in turn one as people try to pull out and go for the move. I'm personally very excited to see this next segment of the race. I think throwing the caution was a great idea. I would not have thought of that. Throwing the caution just to get the field bunched up for the ending of this race. Still have not seen the message in here that it's going in, but it should be going in about this lap as everybody is caught up. We remain with, looks like, 8 runners. 8 runners still in this race. So it's anybody's race at this point. I'm sure everybody has taken their fast repair, fixed their car. The safety car should dive into the pits, I'd assume. No, it will not. They're going to go one more lap. Oh, there it goes. Just goes in a weird entrance. So there they go. About to go green. Let's get... Oh, look at this. What a view that is. I love that. All right. Here they go. They're all going green. People are tucking into that slipstream, looking for a way to get ahead, gain one position off of this yellow. That's Zachary over there in that black car. Looks for a move on Mark Dillon Jr. Thinks better of himself, though. And they're all away. Looks to be cleanly. Nick Terrell and Tyler Watts kind of fell off a little bit at the start. Had some sort of problem. Jonas Janum looking for a move on Zachary Nuremberg. He's going to have to overspeed out of the exit. He's going to go side by side down the straight if he can get up there, and he look for a move in the hairpin. Going to be side by side. On the brakes early is Jonas. Zach goes very wide. He's going to have the inside for the next corner, but he's just going to slot behind. He does not have the exit speed that he needed. Tyler Watts back there looking for a move on Nick Terrell. It's not going to come right now. Zachary Nuremberg still very close to the back of Jonas. Paul, Steven, and Mark all evenly spread with about 5/10, 9/10 between them. Let's see a different view, please. There we go. Zachary Nuremberger right on the back, going to pull out to the side. I didn't even realize that's the Mario Kart bullet. Can we see up there, please? There we go. Jonas Janum pulling out, trying to cover off Zachary Nuremberger. He's going to go the other way around. Look for a switchback, possibly. Nope, follow him through and just hope for the slipstream again. That seems to be the game here. Slipstream until you can go side by side. Tyler Watts in the back, just cruising around. He's kind of falling off the back of Nick Terrell. Nick Terrell, 3/10 off the back now of, who is that? Nicholas Paletti. Jonas Janum just barely holding off Zachary Nuremberger. Zach can nail the exit out of the last corner. He should be alongside enough to get the move done on Jonas. Up ahead, Paul Boyle has now caught up to Steven. He is getting dangerously close. I'd be very concerned if I were Steven. We're not going to be able to see that, I guess, for some reason. They think this is more important. The back markers. Come on, get up there. Paul Boyle side by side with Stephen Thompson into turn 2. He has the inside line, but we learned that's going to go to the outside line. He's going to have the overspeed, but Thompson is ahead at this point. It's all about the slipstream at this point. And Paul is side by side. He has the outside for the first hairpin. He's going to tuck right behind him on exit. As Mark Dillon Jr. tried to slide up, and he's on the outside of Paul Boyle now too. It's a three-way fight for this win, just like we had earlier before Mark Dillon spun out. That yellow flag has helped him so very dearly. He's right on the back of Paul Boyle. As we see, Zachary Nurnberger has gotten ahead of Jonas Janum, but Jonas is now side by side out of the last corner. Zachary's going to have a better exit though because he went wider. Oh, action all over the field right now. Jonas Janum side by side with Zachary Nurnberger. Paul Boyle looking up the inside. Mark Dillon Jr. wanting to find a spot there too. Let's check back here. Jonas Janum's ahead for the time being. Paul Boyle into the lead. Oh, Mark Dillon Jr. just loops it. Oh, let's see what happens there. He manages to keep it out of collecting anybody. Luckily, I would not be happy if I was collected at this point. And now it's just a two-way race again between Paul Boyle and Stephen Thompson, just as it was before. Jonas Janum, though, fighting Zachary Nurnberger very, very dearly for that third place spot now after Mark spun out. One of them's going to get it. One of them's not. It's going to be very, very close. Fighting all the way to the end here. There's Nick Terrell. He got ahead of Nick Paletti. And Tyler Watts must have spun out. Maybe he was collected by Mark Dillon Jr. I'm not sure. Here we go. Jonas Janum ahead. It's probably Janum, not Janum. Anyways, Paul Boyle ahead now. Mark Dillon Jr. still owning the fastest lap for this race. And Steven has now fallen off the back. What was bumper to tail is now 0.6 of a gap. Jonas Janum, Zachary Nurnberger, they have also fallen off slightly. They're no longer side by side into every corner. The action has definitely subsided now 3 laps after the caution period. We're going to follow these guys for a little bit as they seem to be the closest right now. Paul Boyle, Stephen Thompson in that blue car. Paul Boyle looking pretty good right now. Not much anything that Stephen can throw to get up to that first place spot. Very consistently. He's even pulling away on the straights, possibly 0.8 of a gap. Then we see Jonas Janum, Zachary Nurnberger, Nick Terrell, and Nick Paletti. There's Mark Dillon Jr. Is that the end of the race? I believe that's the end of the race there, folks. Or is it not? It is. Okay, so that's the end of the race. Paul Boyle has taken the victory. I wish I had something on my screen that showed me. See, we're up. Okay, I don't know. Anyways, we're going to go ask him for an interview. Here we are with Mr. Paul Boyle, our race 2 winner. Paul, talk us through the race.
That was a sweaty mess for me. It's hot in the UK right now, despite it being 2 o'clock in the morning, and so I'm sweating buckets. That was a tough race. Stephen pushed me all the way, and there was some great racing from everybody involved. I believe the caution that was thrown was a competition caution today, kind of as it's a for fun race, get everyone back and make those last few laps very interesting. And I made the move stick. I'm very pleased with how it panned out.
I was muted the whole time, but I asked Paul to walk us through the race. I think you heard him, though. Paul, I was very entertained watching that battle. I do have to say so myself. What did you think about Mark joining that battle? He was in there for a little bit. Were you scared, or you still kept that cool?
Mark, through the middle of that race, was setting personal best after personal best. And for someone who literally joined for the first time ever in a V 5 minutes before the session opened, he was only getting quicker and quicker. And so, yeah, of course, you have to be nervous when he's all of a sudden right on your backside like that and pushing you every step of the way. I believe he gets the fastest lap of the race as well, so congratulations to him. It's tough luck on that penultimate lap, but yeah, no, great racing from all involved, Pony Express and Doge.
Yeah, he did indeed steal that fastest lap. It looks like by just 4/100ths of a second off of your 102.17. He had a 2.13. But yeah, that was some great racing from you, and we hope to see you in E4A, and along with all the viewers that are still here.
Thank you very much, Tom. Thank you for hosting as well.
Yeah, have a great night.
You too.
And that is our race for tonight. Our wonderful, wonderful Okayama Circuit Formula V fun. We hope everybody enjoyed. Speaking's hard. I've made it this far. Hope everybody enjoyed. Hope the broadcast was somewhat entertaining to watch, and we'll see you hopefully at the next race, or even the E4A start of the season. We're back racing on the 15th and 17th, which means just 1 second here, let me get you an update. 15th and 17th means I don't know. 15th and 17th is we'll have an O4A practice race in the F4 cars at the Indy Road Course, and E4A on the 17th will have a practice race at Zandvoort, which will be a 60-minute race. So